I
Just
think
two
now it's
seconds. Just 2 seconds.
Yeah.
We are just going live.
actually, Garima, we can see a pop-up that says this meeting is being
Meeting
live
is
streamed.
already live, Garima. It's
Yeah.
live.
Yes, yes. The meeting is already live now.
Okay. So yeah, a warm welcome to everyone. The topic which has been given to me is
Putting it.
very, very interesting, and in fact, it also actually helps a lot of people like us who ventured into entrepreneurship, and we did face our own struggles because of lack of understanding of personal finance versus business finance. So these are the two different things, and even the principles are different. So today we will be discussing about building the wealth which is beyond your business, okay, which is independent of your business. And usually we do these sessions for family businesses also, because they need to understand, why they need to keep the finance separate. About me, I am a financial coach, a certified financial planner, and an international speaker as well. So directly we will go to the main content rather than talking more about me. Uh, yes. So as I said, like, we even as a businessman, we need to look at two different balance sheets. One balance sheet is your business balance sheet, where many a times your CA shows you different uh, points over there, like, what is the revenue, what is the profit, what is the EBITDA, what is the how much
विश्वांशु को
borrowing we
करने दो.
have, how much working capital we have, valuation. All these things are reviewed. Okay. And for those people who are not into entrepreneurship, even if you would have seen Shark Tank, you would have seen people asking these questions rather than asking questions about personal finance. They ask about what is the EBITDA and what is the working capital, how much requirement is there. That actually affects our business and profitability of our business and the future of our business. But there is one more balance sheet which is not made by your CA, which you need to make. You need to make for yourself. And that balance sheet is required because I have seen a businessman that, when the business is flourishing, it is giving huge profits. The family is having a lavish life. And when the business is going through some challenging time, the family also goes through that turbulence. So it's like a roller coaster, not only for the business, but also for the family. Ideally, that should not happen. We have to start looking at the finance aspect beyond our business. So in personal balance sheet, what do we count? We count our needs and wants. Needs and wants are two different things because needs are non-negotiable. Okay, जरूरतों पे समझौता नहीं हो सकता है. Needs are non-negotiable. Wants are negotiable, which means, to give a simple example, if you have to talk about food, or if you have to talk about clothing, or you have to talk about school fees, it cannot be dependent on some risky option. It has to be like, if school fees has to be paid, irrespective of how your business is performing, you still need to pay the school fees. You still need to arrange for the food. You still need to arrange for the hospital bills if there are any. So all these things, these are the needs which are non-negotiable. And apart from that, there's lifestyle, the wants, which is negotiable. For example, if your business is doing really great, you can buy the latest iPhone. Okay. And if your business is not doing that great, you can go for a normal phone. So there the negotiation is possible. Similarly, vacations. If your business is flourishing like anything, you can go for 3 international trips per year. If it is not doing well, you can skip a few of them. So there you can negotiate. So first of all, you have to understand about your present needs and future needs. And your personal balance sheet should also talk about independent assets, okay, which are independent of your business. Whether business is giving money or not, that asset should be your, because, for example, if you have mortgage some of your personal asset for your business. It is not independent. Your personal liabilities, let's say you have taken a home loan, car loan, or any such loan, or there's a credit card liability. These are your personal liabilities which would appear in your personal balance sheet. Okay, so and liquidity. Anytime you require money for your home, okay, it cannot be locked into a property or a PPF that you cannot withdraw it. That should not happen. The liquidity also has to be there to some extent, so that whenever your family requires money, you should not be telling them, sorry, business is going slow. Don't take money now. Take it after 1 year. Take it after 2 months. When the business will go. That should not happen. The liquidity, your personal liquidity, should be coming into your family balance sheet. Okay, so and protection. Most important thing is the protection, because if anything happens to the person who is running the business, okay, be it health wise, or if anything happens to the person, if he's no more, then the business gets impacted and the family is on the road. That should never happen. Your family balance sheet should be also as strong as your business balance sheet. They should be independent. They should not be completely dependent on each other. If there are any kind of health expenses, there needs to be a health insurance, and professional indemnity cover for the professionals like chartered accountants, doctors. You also need to have that kind of a cover which would protect your personal assets from your business liabilities. There is something called as a MWP Act, Married Women's Property Act. So many times, if businesses, most of the times they require debt. Okay, which means for businesses, people do have to borrow money. Even the large businessmen, they have to borrow money for the business. It should not happen that, if something happens to the person and that creditors come to the home and they take away all the money, including your insurance policies money. That should not happen. And that is where the MWP Act, which is Married Women's Property Act, that protects your family assets, which means if somebody has a policy taken under MWP Act, at least that policy's money would go to the family rather than going to the creditors. So these are a few things which you should ask yourself, which you should be aware of when you are looking at finances beyond your business. Also ask yourself that I am reviewing my business balance sheet regularly. First of all, have I prepared my family balance sheet? If yes, how often I am reviewing it? Okay. And and it has to be reviewed along with your family, not by yourself. Maybe you can have your spouse, or maybe you can have your parents with you, and relook at these things, that what are our needs, what are our aspirations, what are our liabilities. So this kind of seriousness has to come there. Valuation is not liquidity. Many people, many businesses, I would talk about high valuation they have. But when it comes to liquidity, no, my money is stuck. I have 50 crores, but I cannot have money now. In fact, I need a loan. I am talking about example which happened with me with one of the builders from Navi Mumbai area. He came to me and he said he had his money locked into he's doing some constructions and all that. So the money is locked and he required 50 lakh rupees loan and he had no collateral. So he was asking me to support him with that part. Okay, so why that happened? I said, like, you have huge money with you, right? Your net worth is good. Okay, your construction work is going on. And he told me one thing, sir, if anything happens to me today, my wife does not know how to manage that part. If anything happens to me today, that entire valuation could be zero. Because the people, they will come and take advantage of that situation. So personal liquidity cannot be same as your business valuation. Okay, even if the business is valuable, you still need to have something aside from your business balance sheet, which is for your personal liquidity. Okay, because family cannot withdraw every time from the business. In fact, for that, I tell many people that start giving yourself a salary. Had you been working in some other company, okay, you would have been earning a certain amount. Okay, you take that amount as a salary. Immediately, I get a question, sir, I am in the initial phase, so I need to be putting more money into my business. And I tell them there is a workaround for that also. You take a salary and you give it as a loan to your business so that there is a clarity about what is your personal asset and what is your business asset. Because right now there is no clarity, there is no demarcation because you are not withdrawing any salary. You don't even know how much right you have on your money because your rights depend on how your business is performing. Okay, so a valuable business is not as the same as the available business family money. And the question I leave you with for this particular slide is how many months or how many months can your family run without withdrawing money from the business? If anyone has any answer, you can please reply in the chat window now. As of now, when you look at your business, how many months can your family run without withdrawing money from your business? And if not calculated, just write NA. So if I see no answers, I see NA 6 months, good. So for those who have done that, at least 6 months you have done the provision, you are on the right track. Okay, and when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about without withdrawing from your business. Okay, and that much amount you have kept aside. Good. So let's move to the next slide. Different, these are different categories or types of wealth. They are looking very different, but they are dependent on one thing, your business. Okay, like valuation of the company, it depends on your business. Salary, drawings, dividends, whatever you talk about, that is depending on your business. If you're given your property on rent to your business, not to someone else, but to your own business, if you're given your property on rent, again, that rent is dependent on the performance of your business. Your SIPs, your EMIs, your personal investment, whichever are being funded by your business income, again, they are dependent on your business. Okay, and for business borrowing, whatever assets you have pledged or given as a collateral, again, it is dependent on your business. So all of these, they might be linked to the same business cash flow. And this is where we need to basically think over it and see, am I managing my money in a better way? Am I completely dependent for my finances on my business? If my business does not generate cash flow for some time, does it impact the standard of living of my family? Would they have to borrow money for their needs? I have seen cases where a businessman tells his family, sorry, business is not doing good. I am already under immense stress. So I understand you require fees to be paid. You arrange it somehow. I will manage it later. But right now I'm under stress, so I cannot even think about it. I'm not even in a position to support you because of my mental state, because my business is going through a problem, a challenging period. I'm not talking about permanent loss. I am talking about the normal business cycles, where the business goes through certain challenging phase at time and again. That happens. And here, the lady of the house, she tells the son, don't worry, my child. I will sell off my assets. I will sell off my jewelry. I will give you fees for your school. That situation should not arise. Okay, so you don't just count your assets. Oh, I have so much of it. My net worth is so much. Even Vijaypat Singhania's net worth used to be 12,500 crores at one point of time. And there came a day when he had filed a case against his son because he wanted 8 lakh rupees per month for his house and other expenses. So his net worth of 12,500 crores and he was dependent on son for 8 lakh rupees because the things were in the business, not outside the business. So some portion has to be outside the business. So do not only count assets, count independent cash flow engines. How many cash flow engines are there which are firing without your business? And all these require just a few minutes or maybe a few hours of thinking about this topic. Just when you think about this topic, that is where you will realize where we are going right and where we could be improving further. Because profit is not a lifelong personal income. I know it hits hard. Profit is not a lifelong personal income unless it is converted into one. You have to convert into one. So in fact, whenever I do training, like I do training for Indian Navy, ONGC. So when I do training for people who are retiring in the next month, I give them the example. I show them the video of Vijaypat Singhania taking a jola, walking on the road. Okay. And Vijaypat Singhania flying an air balloon. I show them both the images, in the video itself, and I tell them that had this person, out of his 12,500 crore net worth, had this person even invested 1% into a secured option, maybe a pension plan, he would have got almost 60 lakh rupees. Okay. In fact, if the person invests around out of 100, 12,500 crores, 1% would be 125 crores. Even if we talk about 100 crores, okay, which is less than 1%, he would have still received more than 50 lakh rupees every month, guaranteed. He would not have to file a case against his son for 8 lakh rupees. I'm talking about 1% of his net worth. So this is where you have to understand why we have to look at finances beyond our business. Okay, because the business may keep earning, but we will not keep working forever. Okay, even if many a times, people set up a business and they do sell the business. Many a times, a person sets up a business. Think about Steve Jobs, iPhone. He was thrown out from his own company. And then he had to go through a struggle and come back. I know of one person who started BNI in India, and after developing it to a certain high extent, getting 10,000 entrepreneurs, and then his license was cancelled because BNI said we will manage it ourselves in BNI India. We will manage it ourselves. So he was again back to zero. I've seen a company like Nissan Motors. I used to work there, and one fine day there was a decision of a break-off, and that actually ironically it happened on a 14th Feb. That main sales company and the Nissan head company, they had a breakup, and then everyone was like, where do we start from now? So these things do happen if you do not keep your personal finance separate from your business finance. Now ask yourself, what personal income will continue when your active business income stops? Eventually, if an active business income stops, it could be temporary. If you are not present for some time, maybe a few months, you take a leave. Maybe there's a business slowdown and it becomes extended. Or maybe after retirement. So don't think that businessmen do not retire. Businessmen do retire. They do not retire from work per se, but they do want to have a life where they are not dependent on work for money. The money should come to them without working, and they should work as per whatever they want to. They want to contribute to society. They want to work for charity organizations. They want to join a Rotary Club. It should be their choice. So even businessmen, they need to. So rather than calling it retirement, I would call it financial freedom. They need to work for that. Okay. And sometimes, the business scale is lower, so that profit may not be generated. And that is where we have to think about these. Now that I was given only 20 minutes, so I'm just coming to the end of a 20-minute session with the three questions. Everyone, please take these three questions with you. One is the family liquidity, which means for how many months can your family run without taking money from your business? Sit with yourself, do some calculations. Right now, I just ask you to guess and give the answer, but I would really like you to go ahead and start calculating it yourself. If you need any help, I'm anyways there for you. And second question is, how many parts of your personal financial life depend on the same business cash flow? Okay, I'm not just talking about your income. I'm talking about if your college fees are being funded by your business. That is where
Just
the challenge.
just a minute.
Yeah,
Uh, yes, Kamal, we'll finish in the next 5 minutes. I think
yeah,
we're already 20 minutes. Huh?
yeah,
So can
yeah,
you
yeah,
please one?
yeah, yeah. We'll be finishing in the next because this is the second last slide.
Acha.
And the third thing, which I leave you with, which non-negotiable family needs will continue even if your business income stops, like food, clothing, shelter. In fact, if you have to think of a time, think of the lockdown time when COVID happened. People were in the lockdown, and that was the time whatever money they were spending on the needs. They were not going for vacation. They were not going to a restaurant. They were not having a lavish life. They were at home, and whatever money was required per month, that is your non-negotiable family needs. So that has to be that you need to be aware of. uh, Last is the PNG model, where we have to uh, preserve the foundation. So protecting the family's financial position from the risk which are connected to life, health, liabilities, or business. So for life, life insurance is there. For health, health insurance is there. And whenever you have liabilities, you can have your life insurance covered under the uh, MWP Act. Okay. And how would you protect your business? So that is a indemnity, professional indemnity cover. So cert and a factory insurance. So these kind of insurances, they will protect your family's financial position. And then you need to start planning for your needs. And your needs should be funded irrespective of what happens in your business or irrespective of what happens in Sensex, Nifty, and all that. So your needs cannot be dependent on equity mutual funds or your own business. Needs should be dependent on secured option. Then comes the grow part where you are expert. You know it better than me, that you can grow your long-term wealth through your own business or through equity, mutual funds, property, crypto, and all that. Although assets are there which are in the risk category, so that you can use for growing yourself, for growing your wealth also. So preserve the foundation, secure essential needs, and grow independent wealth. Go in that sequence. Start from protecting, then needs planning, and then finally go to the grow option. The order is important. Your business may be the engine that creates your wealth, but it should not be the only engine on which your family future is depending. So as I mentioned about protect, needs planning, and grow. In fact, I have delivered a TEDx talk. It is called PNG Model for Financial Freedom. That maybe link I will share with you. And now you have to think about which one you will start with in the next 30 days. And I'm also working on developing a worksheet, okay, which will not only help you revise what we studied today, but it will also help you answer the questions which I have given you in the previous slide. So that entire worksheet will contain everything for you. I will share the link in the group. And thank you so much. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and you can just mention BLL so I know where we met. That's it from my side. Thank you
Sweta,
so much.
your mic is muted, Sweta.
Yes, I think we'll get in some questions. And in the meantime, Kamal, if you could share your details, people can store it for getting in touch with you. And LinkedIn पे तो हम ढूंढ लेंगे, but your YouTube link and your personal details where people can reach out to you. If we could see that if you could share that.